So let's move to this story. The terrorists from ISIS beheading gang, dubbed the Beatles, has sparked fury after applying to return to the UK. It's being called an insult by victims' families. Shafee Elsheikh, I think I've got that correct, we'll confirm that in a moment, known as Jihadi Ringo, has applied to transfer from a high-security US prison. But there are fears he could receive better treatment in the UK. His gang filmed the killings of hostages, including, you may remember, the aid worker David Haines. He was born in Sudan, by the way, grew up in London, but has had his British citizenship revoked since 2018. I can't really see how this man's got any right to claim that he should be moved to this country. One man who's been reporting on this, very respected journalist, senior reporter at The Sun, Michael Hamilton, is with us. Good to see you, Michael.
Good afternoon.
I mean, this Beatles group, so there were 4 of them who carried out the most horrendous, barbaric attacks. What's the bigger story behind them? And one at least is dead. Are the other 2 dead as well as this guy?
So, yeah, they were 4 jihadists from London, all travelled out to fight for IS.
Yep.
The leader was known as Jihadi John Mohammed Emwazi. He is dead, was killed in a drone strike. The other 3 are all in jail.
Right. And this fella, Shafee Elsheikh?
Yes,
is that
that's right? Yeah.
He wants to come over here, so he's in a US jail where I'd imagine it's pretty grim.
He's in a very tough jail, 23 hours a day in his cell.
Wow.
No mixing with other humans, basically. Just sees staff, counsellors, that's it. It's there to stop people escaping and for punishment that he wants to come over here.
You'd think, I often wonder this when it comes to people whose crimes, in this case, these are all people who carried out horrendous crimes but did so in the name of their faith. You know, they believed, I know it's not the same version of their faith that others would believe, but that's how they would dub it. I did this for God, I did it for, you know, essentially my guiding light in life. You'd think that when it comes to serving time in jail, they would also take the same kind of theological kind of line that, you know, I don't mind being here because this is God's work and I'm still part of it. I'm a martyr almost, albeit in life.
The fear is that Elsheikh wants to come over here to have cushier conditions. The greater fear is that if he comes to somewhere like Belmarsh, he'd be able to mix with other jihadists.
Of course.
If he behaved, he'd be placed in softer conditions than he would be in the US and could be able to mix with, speak to, influence, radicalise others.
Do we know specifically what this one of the 4 did, what his actual offence that led to jail time was?
He was part of the gang. The 4 of them, abducted David Haines in 2013. They held him, tortured him, waterboarded him, starved him. Elsheikh, Jihadi Ringo, was one of the ringleaders of that. Jihadi John Emwazi was the executioner, but Elsheikh, Jihadi Ringo, was a key member of this gang. He was found guilty by a federal jury in the States, serving 8 life sentences, so was a very serious, heavy-duty terrorist.
I mean, this is the most barbaric. This is just awful, isn't it? I mean, there's no other way to... There's no mitigating circumstances around this one. I can't imagine what a defence lawyer said in court. This is just horrendous and awful, and you wonder, you know, at what point would somebody or even a legal team think that it was reasonable to try and, you know, essentially get their client transferred, I suppose, for want of a better phrase, to somewhere better? That would be the thinking.
Well, they were also targeting aid workers. So David Haines was handing out humanitarian aid to displaced persons in Syria after the civil war. So it's hard to argue, you know, any rationale or logic behind what happened to him.
Yes, you couldn't even, sort of tenuous as it still might be, you couldn't even argue that it was, you know, this is just sort of one person's ideology against another's. This was an aid worker.
Yeah, an aid worker. Some of the American victims were journalists, and the family's fear is that, as I say, if they do go to Belmarsh, it's going to compare very favourably for him to his life now.
Yeah, of course. His British citizenship was revoked in 2018, so it doesn't sound as if there's any kind of he's got any legal case to come here.
Well, the US Department for Justice papers describe the UK as his home country. So they see him as a British citizen.
Right.
And what the fear is that obviously with Donald Trump's hardline government, that if they negotiate with our authorities,
Yeah.
then they may have the upper hand in that.
I mean, could he not go back to Sudan?
Well, he hasn't applied to go back to Sudan, and I don't think that such an application is likely.
No, I don't imagine he wants to go to Sudan. But could we not say, well, look, he's not a British citizen, we don't want him here. He's got no right to be here. He's a horrendous character. So, yeah, I mean, we've got no grounds to take him. But like you say, if we carve out a deal with America, might not be specifically for him, but he comes within the remit of that deal, then...
The Ministry of Justice have said we can refuse this application and any others. So they can say no, but if that happens, he stays in the States.
Yeah.
The Sudan move sort of isn't on the table.
We don't seem to get... I was just thinking when you said that there, you know, you can imagine if Donald Trump was asked at a press conference what he thought of this guy. You would get bells and whistles of, you know, absolute condemnation and very sort of politically graphic description of what Trump thought of someone like this. Whereas over here we get a sort of nicely worded press statement from the Department of Justice. You always want to hear the Prime Minister stand up and say, this piece of work is never, ever coming back to this, not on my watch. But we don't get that sort of same passionate, unequivocal riposte from our lot.
No, I think David Haines' daughter would like to see that and like to hear that.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
If the Justice Secretary said, not on my watch, you know, over my dead body, he's not coming back here, we don't want him, I think that would be what she wants to hear.
I would have thought so.
Why we've raised it and why she's spoken to us about it.
Is there a time frame on any of this?
Yeah, so they put out that, the US Department of Justice put out that notice on August the 12th. And it's 30 days from then that they then decide what to do next. So they then could decide to apply for the move, or could decide that the victims don't want the move, so they could shelve the application.
We'll watch with interest. I know you're keeping up reporting on this as well. Michael, great to see you. Thank you for coming in. Michael Hamilton, senior reporter over there at The Sun.